Alfie is a WOR race winner.
Jensen makes it 5 in a row.
Danny Berejnay wins on debut.
Shinaka returns to winning ways in WOR.
Season 12 sees a new man. It's Shadow. He is your Xbox champion.
And Jensen is the new king of PlayStation.
From the back row of the grid, against all odds, Nicholas Longy wins the title.
Goes past the safety car.
What has gone on here?
Berman spins.
Stunning move from the Spaniard.
He's taken out Rambo. Here comes Longy.
We're going 4 ways down to turn 1.
Oh, he's taking him out.
The captain run was complete.
Sonic to the inside.
Shadow wins at Brazil. Absolutely sensational.
Welcome to the WR stream for Xbox Tier 1, and as per usual, I seem to be having a little bit of trouble being able to hear good old Ryan on the left-hand side. Hopefully you guys will be able to do just that. But before I say anything, I'll go any further, Australia is the track tonight here at WOR. Hopefully I've fixed it on the Ryan side. Ryan, can you just say hello quickly?
Hello?
Ah, yes. Winner.
Hey.
There's obviously something happened in there when you hit when I hit go into one of the intros that does this. Anyway, can a simple question: can anyone stop Elite?
No, I don't think they can. Not at the minute. We need Elite to have a bit of bad luck, I feel like, at the minute, because at the moment he is one hell of a driver who is just performing at the very top, and he is performing week in, week out, and nobody can seem to get close to him. We've seen glimpses of it in qualifying, and the only real driver that we've seen so far who's closed in on Elite at some points in the race or has got close enough to really compete with him was Leopard in the race. And unfortunately for Leopard at this moment in the season, he hasn't really been able to deliver a good enough qualifying to be really up there. So hopefully Leopard has really fixed his qualifying and he's going to be up there to really, hopefully, challenge Elite here tonight.
Now, the qualifying is over. It started, so we were a little bit behind, just trying to fix everything up from your end. Oh, I say from your end. It was definitely my end that's the problem. But your thoughts on the first 3 races of the season so far? Obviously, we've had a fair few domination races from Elite, it looks like. But there has been, you've mentioned Leopard and Shadow and Scyther, maybe not on Shadow? No, Shadow's not here anymore. Smokey and Scyther, maybe not right on top of his level, but could also just play a part in this season.
Yeah, for sure. Both of them have been really at each other's throats this season, really neck and neck. Bahrain was a hell of a race where there was last lap drama with Cypher and Wilson. That was a real spectacular finish, in my opinion, there. And that was one of the races of the season so far. Austria, again, didn't disappoint as well. We had some good battle in there, but Miami, there's a bit more of a chilled atmosphere, but it's just Cypher and Smokey, that they've got a hell of a rivalry between those two, and they were neck and neck, and it was going right to the wire, and we could really see a really feisty battle between the pair of them for second place in this championship. And to be fair to them, I don't see anybody else getting as close to them, and it's quite clear those two are really, really competitive this season. Then there's one driver who's had a bit of misfortune this season when it comes to the races, and that's FRA Matthew. Obviously recently moved away from WR to move to FRA, and at the moment he's had some incredible qualifying performances, but again he's spun at a few tracks, Bahrain, Austria, and then he got involved in an incident at Miami which cost him a really good result again. So Matthew, I feel like, will be looking just to get some big points on the board here this time round, and avoid getting on unnecessary damage or spinning out, because he's another driver that's got some real potential around here.
He definitely has, and let's have a look at the action that is taking place. And apparently the game catcher has gone really big on the screen. This is not what we want to see. We want to see M Racer racing around and see what he can do when it comes to he's had potential, but it always seems to be early doors for M Racer. He gets himself in a little bit of trouble. He has to fight his way through. And speaking of early trouble, he's into the wall already, and that is not exactly where you want to do it. Outside of turn 5, probably hit a bit too much of the curb on the exit of turn 5 there, and he's around.
Yeah, again, this is typical M Racer. He always seems to not be able to settle in the early doors. He's more of a driver that builds over time in a session. He usually puts in some good qualifying laps right at the end off the session. That wasn't the case at Miami. He only set his banker lap time around there, but around here I feel like give him some time. He always delivers in the race, it seems to me, and that's a good thing. But around Australia, I feel qualifying is going to be really crucial around here. Although not as much as it was on the last game, I feel certainly it's still a big factor, as there is a lot more overtaking opportunities as this track has been redesigned a little bit, obviously for real life racing as well. So again, M Racer really should be delivering a lot more, and I feel like we expect a lot more from M Racer. Certainly a driver that we feel could definitely get consistent podiums, but unfortunately a bit of misfortune this season really has cost him some really cracking results. But we've got to give credit to the top 3 at the minute. They are ridiculously close. All driver top 3 all in the 16.8, so we've got a real good battle on our hands potentially here.
Well, you could even say Leopard just outside that as well, being very close. But the top 3 agonisingly close between the 3 of them. A couple of newer faces in for today. We obviously had Axe early, I think first round of the season, maybe second round as well. It seemed very quick on 1 lap pace, and he's back up. Well, he's back here today as well. Recluse is here, as well as Harris, currently in 15th place in the Alpine. Let's see what he can do. Tier 2 driver, I believe. So let's see how he can handle the pressure. But you've touched on it already for the Australian Grand Prix. There has been numerous changes here. Turn 1's slightly wider. Turn 3 is slightly wider. Turn 6 is slightly wider. The removal of the chicane of 9 and 10. And also the straightening and widening of 13 and 15 is also slightly wider. So there's a lot of changes happen to this track, and hopefully we'll see a little bit more action on it.
Yeah, for sure. It should really invite more racing and better overtaking opportunities realistically. And Harris is on a just invalidated his lap, as I was about to say. He was on a nice and controlled lap, but the Alpine unfortunately invalidating there. And it's always good to see these tier 2 drivers getting the call up to really prove themselves amongst some of these tier 1 drivers, and it's really nice to see some new fresh faces as well. One driver who's already out of the session is Fern. I believe he crashed on the exit of turn 2. That's why on my screen there is a glitched tyre in the middle of the track, but anyways, that's unfortunate for Fern, who's not even got a banker lap time on the board, so be looking to get some work in this race and really hope to push forward. And on board with Elite at the minute, he'll be looking to go even quicker now on his second run here.
Yeah, he's very early doors for him. I might go back to Pisty, who's just about to finish a lap time, coming through turn 11 now, and it looks like he's taking it quite standard. Doesn't seem like it's anything special, but nothing jumping out that's saying it's a terrible lap either. So hopefully, currently P5. Let's see if he can throw himself a little bit higher up. He has displaced Leopard, only just, mind you, but getting very much closer to those top level guys. And seeing as Elite is on track, purple sector 2. He's looking quick, taking as much of the curb out of turn 10 as possible, and he's he's just looking very that
Yeah, he really is, and it's interesting to say the least. How Elite's doing that, he nailed that midway through the corner, and he was right on the power. And this is looking at a very sharp lap indeed. He's going to be very close to Smokey, and he goes fastest by well over just less than a tenth of a second there. So nicely done there from FRA Elite. But Smokey really is on his case here today. And I wonder if he'll be able to keep up the consistency over this race, because if so, we've got a really exciting battle between these two. And Smokey really is looking sharp, but his rival, shall we say, Cypher, really is struggling at the minute, all the way down in P12, a 1 minute 17.7, over a second off his rival of Smokey, and it's really looking quite worrying at the minute for the Williams driver, who's had a very good start to the season. So he'll be looking to really get a more promising lap time in on his second lap, which he's about to begin. But there's obviously more drivers coming around and starting their laps at the minute. But a lot of drivers I've noticed here have either backed off or invalidated their lap times at the minute. So Australia's proven to be a track where invalidating seems to be very common.
Yeah, M-Racer's just thrown himself into P8 as well. It's very close in the timings, like you mentioned before, but as also, like you literally just mentioned, the invalidations are coming in thick and fast. Are we going to see a lot in the penalties coming through in the race as well, which could cause absolute havoc to everything else?
Yeah, exactly, and I would not want to be any of these drivers, because Australia last game was quite common, especially through this middle sector of the fast left-right, and everybody would tend to get at least one warning through this part of the track, and where Nico was in particular. And it's always seems to me on the exits is where a lot of these drivers are seeming to get their invalidations, which is quite surprising when you would think it'd be midway through the apex, because a lot of the drivers seem to cut the corners as much as they can to gain as much time as possible. And for the race, I feel we could see a fair amount of penalties here tonight, because a lot of these drivers will be pushing to the absolute limit and trying to get as good as exit as possible. They'll be trying to cut this track as much as they can. But another driver who's seeming to have a good qualifying so far is McCabe Sam, all the way up into P5, the Aston Martin driver, who's had a steady start to the season, but this will be one of his best qualifying performances so far if he can hang on in there for the rest of this qualifying.
Yeah, currently P5. Axe leaving the session, unfortunately, is in P6 as well. Where is Pisty in all this? Actually, let's go. No, Matthew is invalidated. I'm trying to find a driver that could actually hasn't invalidated. Choco? No, invalidated. Let's see. Lackey. Is it Lackey and Shazoo Lackey in P12 there? In the McLaren car, taking the space of... who's the other McLaren driver? We spoke about it.
Yeah, so it's Chandler and Martin.
Yeah.
Chandler and Martin both aren't racing tonight, yeah.
So we got Leopard and Lackey in their place. And Leopard currently P7. Hasn't done another lap since that early doors one. And everyone else is starting to throw their lap times in. Is he, just take it? It looks like he's just taking his time about things.
Yeah, it could be, or he's just struggling to get a lap on the board after that brilliant banker lap time. You just don't know. I feel like Leopard's a very calculated driver. We've said this a few times now, and it proves to be every single week when he always gets points. So we got to keep a close eye on him because he's a very sneaky driver and he always pops up at the last minute. And to be fair, it seemed to me he has sorted out his qualifying issue at the minute, getting a very representable banker lap time on the board, and now he's looking to really move forwards for this qualifying here tonight. So it's looking really promising for the McLaren, and I wonder if he'll be able to creep even further. I reckon he could definitely get inside this top 3 here tonight, and he could really challenge Elite and Smokey potentially, as well as Matthew, for a really good result here tonight, one of his best results of the season. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Leopard can do on this lap. But Lacey on board with him now through the final corner. What can the McLaren man do? He'll be looking to get inside this top 10, and he's just fallen short of that into P11 there.
And a big snap of oversteer there from LCR Leopard, and he's going into the pits, unable to go quicker. Wilson is also invalidated on his lap time. Placky just starting his, so VSR Jack, whereabouts are you on track? You've literally just started as well. And Nico is just ahead. So let's go on board with... It feels like it has to be Elite. I think Elite's a little bit further on his. What can he do? He's currently leading the way at the moment with 4 minutes 20 of this qualifying session remaining, but he's looking slightly unstoppable again.
He really is, and it's quite frightening to say the least. And oh, that's a massive snap of oversteer, but he's caught that magnificently. I swear there was barely a lift on the throttle, and he's lost barely any time from that. But wow, that was an amazing save, and he has backed off, so he's going to go straight into the pit. It was a marginal improvement for Elite there. He had an absolute cracking first sector, but what a save that was. A lot of drivers wouldn't have been able to catch that one, that's for sure. He nearly ended up into the barriers there, so it was a cracking save from the Mercedes man, who is at the moment on provisional pole.
Yeah, provisionally for him. I don't know if anyone's going to beat him, but we'll definitely have to wait and see if he can be beaten. That's the other thing. He's looking so strong in nearly every race I've seen him do, and the man is pretty much on fire. M-Rater then, what can he do? He's just about to come around the final corner. The last 2 times I've viewed him, he's done something wrong, and this time he's going into the pits. So, I mean, I've got a little bit of bad luck with a lot of this at the moment. Who is the next car to actually start a lap time? It could very well be an AlphaTauri, sorry, of FRA Matthew. What can he do? Obviously, mentioned before, swapping from WR to FRA, and could maybe the strategists of FRA help him out, get him outside of some trouble?
Yeah, hopefully so, and maybe he's getting some information on the setups now he's joined FRA, get some of the Elite secrets to potentially unlock some new potential pace for him as well. So obviously when moving teams, you feel like moving into a new environment will help you improve, but sometimes that just isn't the case, and it's just down to you as the driver to really find unlock new abilities in particular and new sets of skills. So of course a new team can do that, so be interesting to see if there is a new kind of driver from Matthew here who's going to be even stronger in qualifying and even better in the race, which something he definitely needs to work on at the minute is his race pace, so, and being that bit more consistent. So hopefully FRA have got him in and said, right, we're working on these things to help you improve, and he's listening and looking to improve as day by day and race by race. So see what the AlphaTauri can do, and it's looking promising so far to have a really promising qualifying, up by nearly a 10th so far.
He's looking very strong, but he invalidates yet again, and that seems like it could be a massive problem for a lot of people. That turn 10, the exit of turn 10, could be huge. McCabe Sam then just starting his lap, but is either Wilson or Scyther. Yeah, let's go on board with Scyther as he comes through. And he's P9 currently. He's 3rd in the championship. Well, joint 2nd in the championship with Smokey after 3 rounds. So both on 48 points, I think they are, and but 35 points away from Elite, and they're the 2 at the moment being able to, points-wise, keep up with Elite. And I know that's very odd to say, being 35 points away, and he has put it P3 provisionally, but that's still 2.5 tenths of a second away from Smokey.
Yeah, that's big for him. And Wilson had a massive amounts of qualifying there in that final sector, just on board with him now. Now Alpine, and oh my god, there's an Alfa Romeo who's crashed into the wall. Axe F1 into the wall there, and Wilson had to take a forward in action. And there he goes, slots into P3 just ahead of Cypher. Definitely ruined, lost a bit of time having to move out the way there, because on my screen in particular, as well as Wilson's, I'm presuming, it didn't look like he was ghosted. So that was a very smart decision, just to take no risks for sure. And LCR Leopard invalidating on his final run here. So again, I must have cursed him, because he was looking very, very sharp on this early qualifying. And unfortunately for him, he will not be qualifying any higher than P9 at the minute.
Yeah, there's a fair few drivers still to set lap times and set competitive lap times as well. Recluse, Jack, not anything competitive yet. Connor can still go quicker, I'm sure of it. Harris and Nico, both yet to set a lap time as well. There is an awful lot of people probably annoyed with their lap time so far. Pisty, I don't think is going to be able to set a lap time either. But Smokey and Elite, both able to set another lap time. I'm not sure where they are on track, but I'm going to see what VSR Jack can do as he rounds turn 10. And it looks like it's pretty solid so far this lap.
Yeah, for sure. And that's what you need to do, just get a solid lap on the board. And Jack definitely needs to just get a lap which is representable on the board at the minute, because unfortunately for the Alfa Romeo, he's not been able to do that so far. Up to the finish line now, just to get a good lap on the board for Jack, and it goes up into P6. And what a final lap time that was from FRA Elite at 1:16.421, over 2/10 clear of his rival Smokey. So that's an unbelievable effort there from the Mercedes man, once again absolutely clear of the field.
Absolutely cracking job done there by Elite, and a few drivers still. Well, I think it's just Leopard entering the pit, and whereas Wilson on track as well. See him limping home, I think is the best way to describe that. Oh no, he's just gone straight through, so that's fine. We won't have to wait for too much longer. But it's interesting to see everyone's. Well, different. Wilson's always been about there or thereabouts in qualifying, but never in the race. So let's see what he can do this time around. But I will just quickly go down the order. It's FRA Elite, surprise, surprise, on pole. WR Smokey in P2 with Wilson in P3. Cider in P4 with fifth going to FRA Matthew, hoping probably for a better race than he's had most of this season. At VSR Jack with that stellar final lap in sixth. Seventh is Shizu Lacey, 8th is Pisty, 9th is McCabe Sam, and Axe rounding out the top 10. Unfortunate for Leopard, he's P11 with M Racer in 12th, 13th is Tudi, FRA Placky in 14th. Where's his pace gone? 15th is VSR Nico, 16th is Choco, PSR Connor in 17th, 18th is Recluse. Harris unable to set a lap time in qualifying, and PSR Fern, well, crashing out, sounds harsh to say, but crashing out quite early doors. In the qualifying session.
Yeah, it's really disappointing that for Fern. These things happen though, you know, mistakes happen, and you know he's got to make up for it now in this race. So it'll be interesting to see how he's able to recover from this. But two Germans again, unfortunately not delivering in qualifying, both Leopard and M Racer. So we're going to have to keep a close eye on those two, as we know how strong the pair of them are. They always seem to come back in the race, so we've got to keep a close eye on those two. But I feel they'll be both disappointed with that qualifying sessions, because I feel both of them had way more time on the board, especially Leopard and M Racer. They were really looking sharp, and unfortunately for M Racer, and validating through the middle sector on that final run, and Leopard validating straight away through the first two corners. So real shame for those two drivers, but at the same time, we've got an exciting front row, and I wonder how it will unfold, because again, I feel like we've got to see Smokey dive it down the inside and hold up Elite as much as he can.
Yeah, Smokey desperately has to do a Chandler on Elite just to cause some problems. Maybe getting into traffic, Elite might get caught a little bit. Someone else might pick off a position, and you know, incidents do happen when you're in the pack. At the moment, Elite hasn't had the mentality to drive in the pack, because he's so far out in front. I say that as a bad thing for him. He's not massively out in front, but it's enough to be a difference. And considering this is the Xbox, the best Xbox has to offer, and he's that 4 or 5 tenths a lap quicker than most people, it makes a difference.
Yeah, for sure, and that's the thing. We see it a few times. Is Elite does get a poor start, and then he has to maybe overtake one car max. That's really about it. We haven't really seen him have to make many overtakes. And remember Crispy with that stat last week. I can't remember the exact figures, but he's he's led basically most of these laps. So it's pretty insane to say across this season that he's really led every single lap of this championship at the minute. So yeah, I wonder what will really happen if he's had to, if he crashes in qualifying and he has to start from the back, and how he'll make his way through the field. That would be a really interesting thing to say the least. But at the moment, he's just got qualifying wrapped up every single week, and there's nothing nobody can do about it. And you've got to give credits to that, because it takes a lot of skill to be able to deliver week in, week out. And as we wait, hopefully, for these drivers to really decide to press A, change. Obviously, they're making setup changes as well as strategy choices. It'll be very interesting to see how this all unfolds, because strategy obviously is going to be a key element here. Australia, sorry.
Austria and Australia need some strategy points as well. Do not worry. But yeah, Australia. It's the first time these guys are driving around this new improved circuit here in Melbourne, and in a race scene for WOR, let's say, and we'll have to wait and see how it happens. And we are. I think we're getting a restart. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, apparently. I feel like the setting's apparently wrong, so I'll go in. I thought, again, this game sometimes just loves to, mess around with settings, unfortunately, and that is what's happened here tonight. So apologies there, as the host, but again, this game always seems to want to mess around with the settings, which people always have saved. So gonna have to quickly get a quick restart on our hands, and I'll be getting it all set up once again. But again, EA really deciding to ruin this great event so far.
Yeah, we'll have to give people a little bit of time, as there is people reversing off the starting line for this. It's, I'm glad I'm not showing this, because this is some entertaining stuff happening on our. Thankfully, it's a restart, so we don't really have to worry too much about it. However, we'll go back to the standings, and Smokey at the moment has only been. So it makes it sound like a bad thing. He's only been able to manage P3, and that's it. Well, Elite has won every race. Smokey has finished third in every race, and the podium sitters, Leopard is, he's ruined the aesthetics of it, I guess, because Sider's had 2 second place finishes, but his round 2 finish which was 4th place, has cost him some big points and cost him second in the championship so far.
Yeah, and that's the thing. These things always happen, and you just got to make up for it, and have a better result at the next track. So yeah, it's one of those things, and having to sort this lobby out is always the most frustrating thing. And yeah, Australia, I'm really intrigued to say for this race, should be thrilling, for sure, because this track we saw in qualifying, there's no room for error, as we saw 2 drivers obviously crashing or spinning. So I'm really thrilled to see how this all unfolds at this moment in time, as just getting some people into this lobby. But yeah, again, this race should be interesting, and I wonder if Elite will be able to hold this lead into turn 1, and that will be a crucial factor once again.
Yeah, Elite has to hold that lead. We've mentioned it before, how Smokey has to get in front. But from an Elite point of view, Elite has to stay in the lead, get that clear air. We know how good he is in that clear air. So as soon as he's got that, he will, well, he'll just move. He will go. That'll be it. He is more than ready to pull away from anyone he can. just trying to think throughout the rest as well. McCabe Sam, I think, has had 2 DNFs this season after points in first round in Austria. PSR Connor, that 6th place in Bahrain, has given him some points as well. But Placky, I mentioned it earlier. Where has the pace gone from Placky? It doesn't seem like he's got the qualifying. His race pace might still be roughly there, but his qualifying pace isn't right.
Yeah, that's for sure. And it's weird for Placky because he had a very promising start to the season, and especially in pre-season in particular, he looked very, very strong. So I wonder really where it's all gone wrong for him, and it's one of those things, sometimes it's just unexplainable in why things go wrong. So hopefully for him, he can really sort that out sooner rather than later. So I'm just wondering who we're waiting on an AlphaTauri and a Williams off for whoever they are, so hopefully they can get in as soon as they can, as I have invited everybody from the old session so I can start sorting out this grid order. But yeah, at this moment in time, it's Placky who's just got a lot of work to do, and that's something nobody likes to do, is having to find pace, because that is not a nice feeling when at the start of the season you're looking sharp, you're looking fresh, and then all of a sudden everybody else around you has caught up on you.
Now let's remind you of the qualifying order while we get the lobby set back up, and that is FRA Elite in pole positions. Whether that's a surprise to you or not, it's neither here nor there. Alongside him is Smokey with the second row of the grid consisting of WR Wilson and Cyber. In 5th place is FRA Matthew with ESR Jack alongside him. Shazoo Lackey Lacey in P7. 8th is Pisty, 9th is McCabe Sam, and Axe rounding out the top 10. Leopard then in P11 with his German compatriot in M Racer 12th. 2D 13th, FRA Placky 14th, VSR Nico 15th, Choco in 16th place, PSR Connor and Recluse in 17th and 18th place respectively, with Harris and PSR Fern, 2 drivers unable to set lap times. And this, it's got some easy mistake. We've spoken about it. The Recluse doesn't really look like he's set a competitive lap time there. Harris and Fern unable to do so, set a lap time at all, but Fern crashing out early door, but Harris obviously continually invalidating his lap times. Do you think we're going to get a fair few penalties?
Yeah, for sure. That's definitely one of the things I do expect to see, is a lot of penalties. We saw so many drivers invalidating in qualifying. I'm really expected to see quite a fair few penalties fly in for a lot of these drivers. So don't be surprised if you see around 6, maybe even 9 seconds worth of penalties for some of these drivers here tonight, because that is probably the likelihood of this race, because of how many people were invalidating on their runs.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see in the penalty situation. Obviously, we saw Leopard pushing hard and invalidating his... he's after his first lap time, which was a very, very solid banker. It was not so great afterwards for him, unfortunately. And Pisty looked like he might go up a little bit higher up than he did, but he's 8th. But if you look at... if you go back to the timing screens for qualifying afterwards, it looked very, very solid for close racing, I think is the best way to describe it. I think this is going to be a very, very tight-knit race.
Yeah, certainly so. I feel like we could see a very aggressive, a lot of aggressive driving from a lot of drivers here tonight, in particular, because the moves here are going to be very hard to pull off against anyone really. So expect the elbows to come out for a lot of these drivers to make some moves stick. So that's definitely going to be a key factor in this one. So yeah, just keep that in mind. The elbows are going to certainly get out, and there's going to be a lot of late moves or a lot of drivers being forced off the track.
Now, I'm sure we're going to get a few more minutes and we'll be back racing very, very shortly. And looking through it, I mean, Axe, who I think in Austria round 1 was very, very quick. but it was one lap pace that he had more than race pace, and it cost him dearly in the end. In round 2, I don't think he finished. I don't think he raced in round 3 either. So, you know, someone that we could see a surprise from this season, especially in this race, because he could, if he keeps it clean, he could score a fair few points.
Yeah, for sure. That is definitely one of the things, to say the least. And apparently this thing's wrong manual with clutch. What? Okay, yeah. Sorry, I've just got there's so many issues with this lobby apparently that they're all complaining about different settings. So alright, it's all good now. Cleared it, clarified with Luke, so that's all good. So, oh god, it's a nightmare sorting these lobbies for some of these drivers. There's a lot of them for some reason don't like hosting, so they have to put it on the commentator to really sort things out, which is never nice to say the least.
No.
But yeah, this hopefully they can all ready up now. So let's hopefully get this race underway. I've checked the settings about 4 times, so if it goes wrong again, I will honestly not be happy, but hopefully it's all okay now and we can really get underway for this Australian Grand Prix.
Yeah, slowly but surely people are readying up and they are going to get themselves sorted for this round 4 race of season 13 of WOR, and it is the Xbox Tier 1 side of things that you are watching tonight, and Ryan and myself have got the wonderful job of commentating over the race for you guys. The lobby is just about nearly ready, done and dusted, and I mean, Ryan, is Elite going to win? It sounds like a horrid question to ask at this point.
Yeah, he's going to win. There's nothing really else. The bookies every week, they just know. It's like they don't even have to put the odds high or low. They just know, right, it's just going to be it's going to be an Elite win. So everybody goes, right, it's a safe bet, Elite this week. So it's unfortunate because it really could be more exciting if Elite wasn't around. And although it's thrilling to see this hot talent come through, and we are the first people to commentate over him, you just are gutted for everybody else, because we could really have different winners each week if it wasn't for Elite. But at this moment in time, nobody really seems to get on his level, and that's the real shame at the minute. But hopefully, Smokey can get a really good launch into turn 1 and just hold him up, do his best impression of Perez, and just make that car as wide as he can.
That's the hope we're going to see. Well, you never know. It could end up being his race pace could not be quite on it. You never know. We don't. But it probably will be. We will have to wait and see. The lobby is ready. We are just waiting for the countdown timer to start. And let's say if Elite wasn't here, if Elite crashes turn 1, who's going to win?
Jeez, tough question again. Probably has to be. I'm gonna go. I'd go for a bold prediction. I'd probably go for Leopard, simply because he wouldn't get any penalties and he would just keep out of trouble. I feel that's the main difference between those guys. I feel like Elite Leopard has just got the consistency edge over everybody else, and he knows how to make moves. And unfortunately now, McCabe Sam will not be able to get back into the lobby since some randomers joined and he's disconnected. So if this means another restart, I'm gonna be absolutely livid, as I'm really sorry for the viewers at home for this one, because I've done all the settings right, and yeah, it's unfortunate to say the least, but hopefully McCabe can get right back into lobby. He has left, thankfully, and I feel like we're just waiting on someone to decide to press A, and that's all we're waiting on at this moment in time.
Right, let's wait and see. Hopefully McCabe Sam is back in now.
Quickly try and send him an invite here, because this is I've never had a more chaotic lobby start than this one in the history of lobbies. So it's a real shame at this moment in time. But yeah, Raj, you can calm down in the chat. Elite McCabe Sam should be able to join. The other person who joined has left the lobby, so yeah, it's just waiting on him to rejoin, and hopefully he's got his setup loaded on. But at this moment in time, everybody's just really just waiting to go in. And there we go. Finally, the drivers have decided they're going to ready up. So remember, there's no formation lap, so I'll pass over to you, Order, because we're going to probably get racing very, very quickly now.
We will very shortly. It's 12 seconds on the timer. Let's head over to the race stream. And we will just quickly say it is the Melbourne Grand Prix circuit we're at tonight. Australia is the race. It's 14 corners and we are very, very nearly underway here. And it's 5 lights and away we go. It is... Or are we? No, we're not. We are now. And there's a very, very odd start. And Aston Martin having a terrible, terrible start. What has actually just gone on, I am not 100% sure. But we will quickly have the positional changes on. There's been a fair few people suffering. McCabe, Sam being one of them. Smokey's unable to do anything into turn one. Scyther is already attacking the Red Bull of Smokey. And there is nothing he can do about it. And Scyther up into his more well-known second place. And all of a sudden, I think we've had a fair few issues from that start. Did you manage to see any of it?
VSR Czech is out of this race already, and it didn't even reach turn 2. He was put into the wall, and that was a massive shame for him. And Shazoo Lacey obviously got involved with that one, got tangled up with the Alfa Romeo, and those two have had an absolute shocking start. I think there was a glitch start for McCabe Sam as he disconnected and he's joined back in. His lights went out way before everybody else, and he did the right thing. He decided to wait, and then he could have gone. But for some reason, for everybody else, the lights didn't go out for another few minutes. So that was really, really strange. And there we go, another incident involved. Choco getting absolutely shoved off the track there onto the curb. And this is what I mean. Fern getting the elbows out and making that move stick. And this is more what we're going to see here tonight. And Choco going off the track, missing his braking point completely. Recluse is ghosting at this moment in time, as I'm not sure why, unless he's disconnected, but at the minute he looks like he's in control of his car. So it's a really weird situation, and Choco has decided to retire here on lap 2.
Yeah, looking at the tyre situation, and Scyther's decided to go a little bit softer with the medium compound tyre to attack on elite early doors and maybe cause a little bit of trouble. Fern on the softs as well. And yeah, very, very much elbows out, and I think that's the reason why Choco has decided to throw in the towel already.
Yeah, it's a real shame for him, and apparently I mispronounced Choco's name there, which I'm really surprised about, because unless the chat really is just trying to be a wind-up at this time after having to wait for so long. But yeah, Cypher doing a really good job to keep with Elite, obviously on the medium tyres, but he does need to get in front, and he has used a lot more of the battery as well, nearly 50% more used compared to Elite at this moment in time. So that's a real shame for the Williams driver, because again, if you want to get past Elite, you need some ERS to pull away, and we know how difficult it is to really utilize your pace when there's a driver who's just on another level to everybody else at this moment in time. And yeah, Smokey is struggling as well, nearly 8/10 back from the Williams, obviously on the harder compound, but he's doing a good job, to say the least, to keep up with these two at the front at this moment in time.
Yeah, McCabe Sam then nearly hitting the back of Harris, coming through, I believe it was going on the grass, going through, what, between 10 and 11, where that's that little dink of a right-hander, but managing to hold on was Harris for the time being. And the PSR Fern then desperate to try and make some moves, trying to make a name for himself with this early doors, already having an issue with Choco, but those softer tyres are working for him at the moment.
Yeah, for sure, and that's the main thing. And Fern made the right strategy. He started dead last, remember, P20, and he's already up into P10. 10 positions gained early on, so it's a great start indeed for the Mexican, who's looking to make even more moves on M Racer now. And he's got a brilliant launch through this middle sector, through this middle apex, so it's quite nicely done, going around the outside, using all the battery, and he's going to brake later. He has the better grip, and that's an easy move, but he's gone deep into the corner, and this could invite M Racer to go back down the inside. But smart thinking there from M Racer, because obviously on the harder tyres it was only a matter of time before Fern got back past, but Fern is struggling to even hit an apex at this moment in time. The Williams driver again going very, very deep, and he has lost touch of DRS, so he's going to have to use some more of the battery now to close up to Axe, who's just behind Leopard, who's had who's had a very good start to this race after starting in P11.
Up 4 places for Leopard then, looking very, very strong. For FRA Matthew, though, looking like he could fall away from the top guys at the moment. He needs to start turning the screw a little bit on trying to catch back up. But Cider holding his ground against Elite at the moment. Those softer compounding mediums are working to his favour, but it won't be long until they break away from, well, it becomes the weaker compound of tyre. Let's see if there's anyone close to 2D then. Getting quite close to the back of M-Racer for the time being. But it seems like the initial pace is good out of a corner, but then M-Racer can pull away.
Yeah, for sure. And M-Racer's got around 86% of the battery compared to Tuddy's 50, so a bit of work to do on Tuddy's side. On the battery in particular, he's quite far back, so yeah, it's a bit of work to do for Tuddy. And there's M-Racer going massively deep into the corner. A lot of these drivers struggling with this new corner on this game, so it's a really weird way for some of these drivers approaching the corner, as they're always seeming to either go deep or miss the apex completely, and you really think it wouldn't be too difficult. But obviously trying to keep up with a soft runner, they're putting M-Racer's clearly putting a bit too much pressure on himself and making mistakes, which is a real shame for the German. But as it stands, Leopard is closing up to the back of Pisty, who's really struggling on the battery now, down to 17% compared to Leopard's 60%.
And Cider getting very, very close to the back end of Elite as they went to turn 3, but nothing doing on that occasion. And Elite's not having it all his own way at the moment. Cider is actually doing a very, very good job of keeping Wilson and Matthew in tow with this battle for the lead, and could cause Elite problems a little bit further down the line. Fern unable to get further up. He's still stuck behind Axe at the moment. Those soft tyres are going to start to be screaming and not be the tyres you want to be on at some stage. And yeah, it looks like Cider still very much the quickest man on the track at the moment, as Wilson dropping out of the range of Smokey behind, and could very much cost him be the DRS train break that we could need.
Yeah, and that's not good news for the likes of Matthew, Pisty, Leopard, who are all still within contention of still getting a very good result. But Wilson's just done enough in that last sector, I believe, just to get into the DRS, and he has. And he's really struggled on the ERS now, down to 3%, so it's not looking good for his race. If he makes a mistake, it's going to be game over for him and his chance of getting a podium here tonight. But again, I feel the medium's starting to drop off a little bit now, because Elite is starting to turn up the pace a little bit more now. He's got 80% of the battery compared to Cypher's 30, so it's not looking too good for Cypher at this moment in time, as Smokey is starting to close in a little bit now. So it's going to be interesting to see, once the mediums do die off, does Smokey go for the move early and try and stick with Elite, or does he just hope that Cypher can just maintain the pace and let him save the RS? But at this moment in time, it's not looking good for the pair of them, as they are, both of them, falling backwards.
Elite then is very much in control. Smokey has pulled away a little bit from Wilson as well. It's 1.2 second. Wilson's in major trouble. It could cause FRA Matthew to look at an overtake on Wilson. We'll have to keep an eye on that one as well. But at the moment, Cider's just unable to get too much closer to Elite, and it's got to the stage of Smokey actually dropping outside that range. Elite's gone quicker, and Cider's decided to go stick with him, but Smokey just doesn't have that extra gear.
No, he really doesn't. I feel there's a bit of a mistake again through that middle sector. And there we go, you're proving that Elite still has more time to give. A 21 flat on this 7th lap, opening onto 7 laps. So that's a cracking lap indeed from the Mercedes man, and he's really just up in the pace now. He's getting into the rhythm. The hards are starting to come into their window a little bit more now as each lap progresses, so it's looking very, very good for Elite's race here at this moment in time. And Smokey's got to use some of that battery if he wants to get back in the DRS, which he has done successfully, but he needs to make sure he can maintain that, because Elite again is just pulling away from Cypher, especially through here, even with out the DRS, although there isn't one on this straight, which could be a good element to add for Australia next year. But yeah, at the moment Elite just really controlling this race, and if he wants to push, he will. And at the minute he's just in cruise control at this moment in time, I believe.
I'm looking on board with Leopard. He gets very, very close to Pisty, but just nothing sticking at the moment. And the FRA guys really holding out quite a lot of that top 6. Is obviously the leader, Matthew and Pisty, in 5th and 6th respectively there as well. So FRA definitely having a good showing here tonight. But LCR Leopard's trying to change that. He's looking at ways to overtake, see if he can put Pisty off and have an overtake somewhere. And there comes Smokey. Smokey's decided to turn up the heat a little bit.
Yeah, he has, and he needed to respond to Elite's fastest lap, and he's only just about beating it after Elite's last lap. So I feel Elite, again, just matching the pace into the 21s comfortably. So it's mad to see these guys really going at it, and Elite is just so consistent. Watching every lap, he's hitting every apex, going on the power as early as he can, and he's just making no mistakes whatsoever. And there's our first penalty on lap 8 already, goes to Axe, so that's an error for him. And here comes Leopard. He's got a very good run on Pisty. He's got the ERS advantage, but he doesn't have too much straight line speed compared to Pisty. He's going to go for the outside line, surely not through here, and again he's going to have to back off and hope for a better exit here.
Yeah, he's looking like the one that will make a move out of everything. There's not much separating them. He goes to the outside of into turn 11 here, and it could cost him if he goes too deep. He has done exactly that, but he somehow manages to stop before going into the gravel, but it's cost him a bit of time.
Yeah, exactly. Just having to know the corner and what line to take, and obviously the outside line was the wrong one there, which is a real shame for him. He looks like he's got more pace to give, and he's definitely quicker than Pisty, but Pisty just parking that car where it needed to be, and I knew for the outside line it was never going to work for Leopard, so he's going to have to throw a few feints, a few dummies here if he wants to get past Pisty and really put some pressure on Wilson and Matthew at this moment in time.
I don't know if it's a connection issue with McCabe Sam or M Racer, but there's a very jumpy looking Red Bull, and it goes defensive, does M Racer on McCabe Sam as they go through turn 3, and it's just held off McCabe Sam for the time being, but M Racer is really struggling on those hards, and now he's losing ground to 2D as well. Let's go back up to Smokey, because Smokey, Cider is outside of DRS range of Elite, and now Smokey's going to seize up his championship, his P2 championship rival.
Yeah, for sure, and he's going to have to dispatch him quickly and hope they can get back onto Elite as soon as he can, but Elite is already checked out realistically. I don't see Smokey finding 4 attempts near enough on Elite in clean air, and he has barely any ERS to really attack with, and McCabe Sam and M Racer going right at it, and that's a nice move that is from McCabe Sam, and there's contact, and McCabe's gone round. I feel that's more of a connection issue, bit of desync between the two as McCabe Sam was static all over the place there. What a shame for the Aston Martin, because that was such a brave move and he nearly made that stick, and unfortunately some desync there has really cost a great move there from McCabe Sam.
And Connor's gone into the pit lane as well. He is on hard compound tyres, so that is a big I don't want to say question mark as wide as he's gone into the pits. Is obviously going to be to do with damage, surely, but he is putting on a set of softs as well. So unless he's had a connection issue and the game's just thrown him in as well, but that is such a shame for McCabe Sam to have that, but that's very much looking desync issue.
Yeah, it definitely was a desync issue for sure, and Connor did have wing damage. That is why he did pit for the fresh set of soft tyres to go out again and hope for a miracle, a safety car potentially to save his race here, but a real shame for the Ferrari of Connor, who's not had a brilliant start to this season, unfortunately. And again, Leopard, and Pisty going at it, and that's a nice move down the inside from Leopard. I told you he had to go for the inside line, and he did this time round, and that's a brave move indeed from the McLaren. Had to use a lot of ERS to make that move, but crucially for him, he can now go and attack FRA Matthew. Yeah,
Pisty was pushing him onto the grass. Very nearly. I was thinking of the Spanish Grand Prix between Rosberg and Hamilton. I was having moments of thinking that could be what could happen between these two, but Leopard able to make that move, and it's not he's back up to attacking Matthew pretty quickly, and it's like it was always those two that way around. Placky getting past Harris in the background as well, but Leopard trying to get himself up and maybe show these guys in front how to gain that time back to Smokey and Cider.
Yeah, for sure. And there we go. Placky getting past Harris now, who has obviously got a penalty as well, which is a shame for him. But he's having a good debut here in Tier 1. He's put a good name out for himself, kept out of trouble, and having good lap times, which is crucial to say the least, is just being consistent. And that's what the Alpine driver is doing at this moment in time. But yeah, I feel now Leopard's going to have to try to save up the battery a little bit behind these two and then go on the attack, unless he's obviously got some pace advantage over the pair of them. But at this moment in time, it seems to me he's just trying to recharge the battery, get into the rhythm again, and then go on the attack. But if you can force Matthew and Wilson to start battling, he can certainly just sail on through and take his chance, because again, Leopard will be thinking of ways to get past these guys, and he's a very creative driver. And you can see he was trying left, right to get past Pistin, and finally got the job done. And here we go, Smokey breezing past Cypher down the inside. Nothing Cypher really could have done about that one, and he really didn't put up too much of a fight, to be fair. And the Williams driver now down to P3.
Yeah, I don't even think Cider was even defending that. That was just a, come on, you're quicker, get past, I'll follow you for a couple of laps and get these a set of hards on. It'll be interesting to see what the undercut works for Cider when everyone else goes on to the set of mediums, to see how it all pans out. Fastest lap of the race for PSR Connor as he tries to hunt down McCabe Sam into the early doors. Let's give that battle a little watch, and there he's already up the inside. Will there be any incidents? There is not, but there is a little bit of a car jiggle, I guess is the best way to describe it, from McCabe Sam. Let's go back to the battle for P4, as Wilson's actually caught a little bit of time to Cider, so it could be time for Cider to pop into the pits, because he is really dropping away from Smokey.
Yeah, he really is, and that's definitely what the tyres have decided. It's game over, and it will be an early pit stop, I'd say, predicted in the next 2 laps maximum for Cypher to really decide it's time to pit, because you don't want to stay out too long, and the hards obviously do take a while to get up into their window. So if he does take too long, there is definitely time and chances for Wilson to really close up and fight Smokey for a potential podium here. But at this moment in time, bit of work to do. 8 tenths he needs to find to close up to Cypher, sorry, who is pulling away quite nicely, and he is doing just about enough to stick with. And he has saved that battery when he was in front of Smokey, and when he was holding him back, he decided to save up, and that's really saved his race at this moment in time, because I feel like now it'll either be this lap or next when we see the Williams driver come into the pit lane.
I think you're definitely right there. It has to be this or the next lap. It's a nice little shot there, seeing Smokey and Cider go through, and then Wilson and Matthew, Leopard, Pisty then struggling to keep on to the back of this one. This 4-car train we've got going on at the moment from Wilson downwards, and Pisty just struggling to keep up with Leopard. It was clear, well, probably even more clear now, that Leopard's got the overall race pace compared to a lot of these guys, and he's going strong, and he's, maybe in fresh air he will be even quicker. We'll have to wait and see. Cider into the pits then for his first pit stop. It's obviously going to be a hard compound tyre, but where does he come out? Does he come out in traffic? There's a yellow flag as well. Is that Placky that is around at the final corner?
It was Placky, yes, you were right. Placky did spin. Massive mistake there for the Mercedes man. And obviously this track just not being one of his favourites here today, and that's a real shame for the Dutchman, who was not being too bad this season. He's just been there or thereabouts in the midfield. So this would be a real shame for him, as he was looking to get a good result, as Cypher has come out in P13. So on fresh hards, we'll be wanting to get them up into their window, get them all up into temperature, and then really go on the hunt. So the undercut might be quite strong around here, so he might still get out in front of Smokey, but I wouldn't put it past a nice overcut from Smokey or Wilson here, who might actually close in on Cypher after these pit stops. So it'll be interesting to see. I feel like Leopard might just stay out for another lap or two compared to FRA Matthew and Wilson. You feel like he's got some more pace to give between these two, and he might do a very good overcut on the pair of them. As you can see, both of them have decided to pit, and Leopard stays out for another lap. So obviously Leopard is going for the overcut, and he's going to go and push as hard as he can now.
Leopard was all over the back of Matthew, causing him troubles left, right and centre. And you know what? I think it's probably going to be great for him. And is that that is a Red Bull of M Racer around, I think. Whether that's in the pit lane or not, I'm not sure. But I'm certain that he was around on the start-finish straight from the map. But Leopard, has to push, has to do everything he can. He was incredibly quick, but just didn't have the clean air to fight. But now, M Racer, that's the second mistake we've seen him do tonight. And he was one for this season to be one to watch.
Yeah, he really was. What a shame that is from M Racer, the German again. Just making a rookie mistake, to say the least. And it was obviously this is his first season in Tier 1, but you'd really expecting better from him for the Red Bull man. And it's just not gone his way so far this season. But Cypher, by the way, has been massively overcut here by Smokey. Absolutely astonishing stuff, as he's over 2 seconds clear of Cypher, and it was only about a second when Cypher got into the pit lane. So that's a real shame here for Cypher, who's got a lot of work to do now to close up to the back of Smokey, as Wilson is now within the DRS of Cypher. So this is really fascinating, to say the least, and Leopard does pit. So let's see where Leopard comes out in all of this. Yeah,
I'll stay on board with Wilson, but the big thing about that is Matthew's behind. PSL Connor's out of this race, but Matthew is behind Pisty. So what's happened there? Where is the McLaren car? I think it's just coming out now. He's been massively undercut, I think, Leopard. There goes Wilson. Pisty is... Yeah, or has he? No, wait, I'm thinking of... I don't know who I was thinking of then, but Wilson just getting out in front of Leopard. And that is, well, Leopard has gone in front of Matthew, but not maybe as a bigger overcut, that he would have hoped. But he's got that fresh tyre towards the end of the race.
Yeah, it's going to be crucial around here, as the tyre wear seems to be quite high, especially on the medium tyres. So it's going to be interesting to see. And now Cypher really is applying the pressure to Shazoo Lacey. Lacey getting out of the way there, doesn't want anything a part of it. And there we go. Is he going to get a move on M Racer as well? The Red Bull man parking the car in the middle of the track. Surely there's nothing Cypher can do. This will be a brave move if he decides to go for it. But again, thinking better off it. Trying to get a good exit as he does. And he's going to use all the ERS now and DRS. M Racer going for the move on Harris. Nothing Harris can do about that one. It's Cypher trying to follow him through. Thinks better off it. Oh my goodness me, he's certainly going for it. Harris left the door open and Cypher nearly took his chance. And there's a big spin in the background. Shazoo Lacey all the way down. The McLaren man. What a shame that is. And Harris is getting forced out of the way here. Cypher getting through nicely. Is that Wilson trying to go around the outside here? It certainly is. There's going to be a drag race between the pair of them. And the Alpine teammate just lets him through. And here comes LCR Leopard, who's going to say thank you very much. And Harris smartly backing out of that one.
I tell you what, Wilson probably hoped and prayed that Harris would just snip back in there, but there was no way around it. Here comes Leopard up into turn 3. Is Leopard going to make the move? He has done on Wilson. Leopard is showing why he still has the ability. Wilson's going to try something, but there's a little bit of contact with Cypher just ahead, but he can't hold off Leopard for too much longer. Leopard is absolutely on fire. McCabe Sam retires. It's surely not a safety car at that point, because that would be absolutely heartbreaking for some of these people. But Leopard all over the back of Cypher. He has nothing to do. Well, Leopard has been incredible so far.
He has. He's taken. I told you, he takes his chances when they are presented. That was magnificently done there from Leopard, and he's going to go for it again. Cypher's going to have to check his mirrors, going left and right. He's got to defend the inside line here, and he doesn't. And this is Leopard down the inside. Very aggressive move, but unfortunately not going to be able to put it off. Really well defended there from Cypher. Getting a good exit on the traction. That was nicely defended. I thought he would have better defend the inside, and he did do it this time. What a move this is from Leopard. Can he hold around the outside? Wilson trying to get involved as well. Could have been 3-wide potentially. And Leopard's going to get a cutback. What a move this is from LCR Leopard. He's got the drag race. He's got the better straight line speed setup. Cypher trying to make this as hard as he can. They're still side by side. And what a move that is from LCR Leopard. But he's made a mistake on the exit. And Cypher goes back through. And here comes Wilson. He's going to the outside line. Nicely done there from Wilson, and that is a massive mistake from LCR Leopard. He's gone from 4th back down to 6th.
Talk about hero to zero to hero to zero. That was just continuing battling from Leopard there, but 3 seconds to Cider's name, and that's not what he wants to hear it as well. But Leopard desperately trying to make amends, and M Racer is doing well to hold on at the moment. He's probably going to get a set of softs to the end, or maybe hoping for a safety car. But here they come again, round for the 18th time into turn 11. Turn 11, turn 9 they come, but Leopard just doesn't have anything. Are we going to see aggressiveness into turn number 11 like we've seen so many times before, but nothing do it that time around? And yeah, he's just holding station at the moment. He needs to find a way through, because I think he's quicker than Wilson overall, but it could cost him massively, and I think that's why he wanted to make the move stick early. He's going to do exactly like he did the lap before, but it's just not perfect enough. And look at that, Wilson is harvesting down the straight. He's got to save some ERS.
Yeah, Wilson and Leopard both have to save as much ARS as they can, because they've got nothing to deploy. But Wilson is going for it around the outside of the American Cypher. He breaks so much later, and that's a fantastic move there from WR Wilson. Absolutely sensational to have the grip and the braking ability to pull that one off around the outside of Cypher was no easy task. And Leopard's trying to go down the inside into this fast right-hander. That would have been a stupendous move. He's got a brilliant exit. He's got the better tyres, remember, has LCR Leopard, and he's going to try and get the move done. And here comes Wilson again to the outside. M-Racer let him through. Team orders from the WR management clearly, and M-Racer's going to have to defend, because now Cypher's trying to go around the outside. What a move from Cypher! Sensational! But he's got the cutback from M-Racer. This is absolutely incredible race between the pair of them. And here comes Leopard. Is he trying to get involved? There could be Leopard down the inside. No, thinking better off it. But that was sensational from M-Racer to defend that position on way older tyres as well. Magnificent. Great respect from both of those drivers.
Yeah, incredible stuff. M-Racer's still holding up, still doing the job that he needs to well, just get there. But Wilson, well, through, and look at Smokey. 8 seconds. All this battling has allowed Smokey to get himself through there. In the background, 2D Infern battling away. But can Leopard do anything this time? Well, he looks to the outside. He's going to stay on the outside. Cider's just going to hold on. He's going to try and make a move on M-Racer, but M-Racer's tyres might not be dead yet, but look how close these guys are coming through this first sector here. They're going to go into turn 6. Is there going to be any moves? Leopard has a look, but there's just nothing doing for the McLaren driver at this moment in time. And somehow, it's still M-Racer from Cider to Leopard.
This is absolutely incredible action. We are being treated to a special race at this moment in time, because now we've got a massive train and anybody can get third here. And here we go, around the outside goes Pisty on Leopard. That was incredible. Unfortunately having to yield the position, but here comes FRA Matthew. He's going to go to the inside line. Pisty's going to make this a bit difficult for his FRA teammate. There's 3 wide potentially in the background there. And there we go, Matthew to the inside. Still side by side with the Haas, and Isaac's going to try and follow through. He's not at this moment in time, but that was a cracking move from the AlphaTauri. Needed to get that move done, but Leopard is getting frustrated here. As each lap progresses, M-Racer is doing one hell of a job for his WR colleagues, because he is making that car as wide as he can.
Yeah, it's 1.7 seconds to Wilson. Wilson is going off in the distance, and I'm sure Leopard can see that happening, and it's not what he wants to see at all. Cider trying to well, make a move on M-Racer, and it's just not happening at the moment. And look how close it's all kicking off. Matthew, well, his fight back is looking like it's quite good, because he was well out of this like 4 or 5 laps ago.
To the inside line, what a move! This is probably one of the best moves of the season. Oh, he's forced Cypher off the track. That was ridiculous from Leopard. I've never seen a move into that corner before, and he decided to go for it. He had to do something bold, and he went for it. I feel the stewards are going to have to question that one, but that was bravery at its finest, and he decided to sit in the car in a corner. You would have not expected it, to say the least, and that was incredible from LCR Leopard. The McLaren up into P5. Obviously, Cypher will not be happy with that one, because now he's lost all the way down to P9. So what a move. That was a cracking effort from Leopard.
Yeah, Leopard really showing his stuff right now. Let's go aboard with him as he tries to set up M Racer. German versus German. How is this going to happen? How is this going to kick off? Because Leopard he's got 2.5 seconds with just under, what is that, 8 laps to go really for Leopard to catch Wilson. He's got that fresh medium compound tyre, but it might not help him too much. But here he comes out of turn 2, down into the first main straight with DRS. He goes to the outside for turn 3, and around the outside goes the McLaren driver. Has he got it done? That is signed, sealed and delivered for Leopard, and now he's got to worry about the cars ahead and forget about the cars behind.
Yeah, that's what Leopard needed to do. The outside line seemed to be the favourite for these medium runners compared to the hards. And there's nothing M Racer can really do about it. He's done the world of good for Wilson here, because Wilson really can relax at this moment in time, unless LCR Leopard can put in some ridiculous lap times now to close up, because he hasn't got the RS to really play around with here, as Wilson is up to 30% now, as his teammate has done him a massive favour, and M Racer is looking to actually go on the attack again, and he's going to go to the outside line, but Leopard parking the car in the middle of the track. M Racer going for a little switchback, but obviously his tyres really aren't in a good state at this moment in time, but he's doing his teammate the world of good at this moment in time, and Wilson will be thanking M Racer for this one, and as he finally goes into the pits.
M Racer doing what he needs to do, and that's allowed Matthew to attack Leopard as well. This is 0.8 of a second, but it could very much boil down to even less than that. Axes are trying to attack Pisty ahead. His penalty is going to cost him big time as well, but let's continue to see what this battle all holds down, because Sider's still onto the back end, but at the moment it could cost him points if with the whole penalty situation right now.
Yeah, certainly so, and that's the thing. Will this all go down to penalties? And if Wilson gets a penalty here, he'll be pretty disappointed with himself, and he'll lose a very well-deserved, I'd say, podium thanks to his teammate of M Racer. So, yeah, it's interesting to say the least. But again, we haven't said much about this man, but Elite cruising in front, nearly 8 seconds in front of WR Smokey. He's just controlled the field from start to finish every lap. He's absolutely nailed so far, and Leopard is actually closing in on Wilson here. The gap was around 2.8 before, now down to 2.4. So it's not over yet, this battle for third. I feel if Leopard can save some battery here, or he can work with FRA Matthew here, there could still be a chance for a really good end to this race.
And we've barely spoken about Smokey since that pit stop with Sider obviously going in early, and I mean, yeah, Smokey's just done everything. We praise Elite how good he is, but Smokey in the same turn has done everything he needed to do. He's finally going to break that duck of third place finishes that he's got in the background as well. Pisty and Axe fighting away. Axe is going to do a switchback through the end of turn 3. Is it going to be enough? Surely not. He can't hold on to the back end of that, and that's 3 seconds to Pisty, and the penalties are coming in thick and fast now, and this could allow Matthew and Leopard to actually really push on, because look at that, it's 2 seconds between Leopard and Wilson. We don't have long till the end of the race, but they could put something else, another sensational battle on for us at the end.
They certainly can, and there we go, Axe getting past FRA Pisty, nicely done to the inside line. Nothing Pisty can do about that one, and I feel the stewards won't be able to remove that penalty for Pisty, as he did go aggressive and he tried to force Axe off the track. And here we go, to the inside, to the outside goes Pisty, going around the long way, and Axe is going to give him the exact same treatment as Pisty gave him earlier on in this lap. That's very well defended, and what the saying is, what comes around goes around, and Axe
Cypher's up the inside.
gave it back, and what the Cypher out of nowhere to the inside line. He's going to hold around the outside. Oh, it's a big crash into the wall. Unbelievable scenes, and that's Cypher's race over. And could we see a safety car? And what is going on? Pisty slowing dramatically down there. Is this a safety car? It is. It's a safety car on the lap 25. Oh my goodness me. We are going to have last lap shootout here, and oh my goodness me, I am excited for this one.
Who pits? Who doesn't? Oh my goodness, this we'll get racing, I'm pretty certain, on lap 28, so we'll have 2 laps of racing. Everyone surely will be thinking about pitting. Surely they're not going to stay on the tyres that they're on. Sider's got no front wing. And that was very, very questionable on that final corner there. Let's not stay too much about that. But if you were Smokey right now, what would you do? Would you see if Elite pits, and then if he does pit, you stay out?
Oh, so Elite does pit. Elite does pit. I feel like that's just playing it safe, taking no risk. If I was Smokey, I'd stay out. I mean, honestly, stay out here because he could really hold him off potentially here. But he's going into the pit. That's a really intriguing decision. If I was Wilson and Leopard, I would just you've got to wait and see what everybody else does behind. And Wilson does go into the pits. Oh, he stayed. Oh no, it was a bit of a desync.
Leopard stays out.
Stays out. This is huge for this race. Smokey and Elite clearly going to be out in front. But this is really interesting to say the least. I feel like Wilson definitely made the wrong call. I believe he should have stayed out because he's going to really drop it back into traffic. And then Racer, by the way, he will be kicking himself a little bit. I bet he wish he stayed out a little bit longer now, as he could have got a free pit stop on a fresh set of softs. But whoa, this race is really going to be fascinating. LCR Leopard into P2 now.
What do we say? Do we see a Leopard just dive it up the inside into turn 1 on Elite? Probably not. He's probably just trying to save it for positions now, isn't he? It's going to be very, very difficult for Smokey to get through Matthew, Leopard. Well, Axe and Matthew before getting to Leopard. Matthew's going to probably want to be on the hunt of Leopard. So, Smokey, I think you're right. Smokey could very well have been leading this Grand Prix and causing Elite trouble, especially with the likes of Leopard Matthew staying out.
That's exactly it. I feel that was the wrong decision from Smokey, really do, because he really could have backed him up and forced in Leopard into going for a little move, because we've seen Leopard this season. We just saw it today. He goes for moves at corners you would just not expect a driver to go for. And this is what I mean. I feel that was the wrong choice on Smokey here, because now he's got to get past Axe and Matthew, and they're mediums. I feel they're still in a good window here. Personally saying, and Axe is on the best medium tyres, freshest out of everybody, so he could probably still hold up Smokey here quite nicely, and you never know, he might get that penalty removed. So Smokey's going to have to get past, and Wilson also made a wrong decision in my opinion. All these guys on soft tyres, apart from M Racer obviously, I feel they should have all decided to stick out here, because especially if they're in the top 5, they've kind of maybe ruined their chances of getting a very good podium result here.
I think Scyther probably, it was the best thing for him to do on the hard compound tyres he had. Because he was dropping down the order. He could now pick off some, if people crash or whatever. Pisty and Tudi there up in 6th and 7th respectively there. Tudi, we've barely spoken about him all race, and then boom, he's in 7th. He's got points at this moment in time.
Yeah, he's looking really, really good, and he's got no penalties. He's looking sharp, looking fresh, got good ERS obviously, so this Aston Martin could get one of his best results of the season here, with some really good points on the board for Aston Martin, and I think he'll be very happy with this if he can just make that Aston Martin really, really wide like M Racer was doing for Wilson, and yeah, he could get a very promising result here, as DRS will only be enabled for probably the last lap of this race, so yeah, well, it's all in Tuddy's favour here to get a P7, and Smokey, he's going to have to bring us in an LCR Leopard, clearly, and go for some very brave and risky moves to the inside line, or the outside, as some of these drivers have been doing, in particular into turn 3, I believe. So, yeah, safety car is in this lap, and this is where it's going to become very, very interesting.
There might not even be a lap of DRS. It's that bad. I think you've got to have 2 laps of racing before it comes back out. I'm not 100% sure, but we will wait and see. What does FRA Elite do at this point then? This is the biggest question we'll be asking. Does he go early? Does he go late? He's got the soft tyres, so that will be, they should be very, very racy from the word go, but we know what LCR Leopard's like, and he will go for a move if there is a slightest bit of opportunity for him to take the lead of this Grand Prix, and that would be something different. Poor old Smokey was about to break his duck for P3 finishes, and he is going to, but it looks like it's going to be in a different way than he was hoping. There goes Elite. Elite's gone early. Matthew goes ultra defensive, but Leopard doesn't. Matthew's but maybe a little bit under pressure straight away from Axe, but it's nothing happening at the moment, and Elite has checked out. He is gone. He could build up a good time. Here comes Smokey then. Up into P4. He's already dispatched Axe. Can he do anything to Matthew on this lap? He's already sniffing his diffuser and trying to get past him already, but Leopard's already pulling a gap as well.
Yeah, Leopard's doing exactly what he needs to do. I feel like Elite was always going to check out here, and he's going to go for the fastest lap of the race as well while he's at it, using all that battery. And these soft tyres are really working their wonders. And there we go, Smokey getting past Matthew, and there's nothing Matthew can do. Matthew's going to wiggle around to let him know that he's not going to put up a fight with Smokey. But Smokey is going to have a much harder challenge now on this final lap to get past LCR Leopard, who's going to make that McLaren as wide as he can. And there we go, Wilson getting past Pisty now. Nicely done from the Alpine driver. Racer still got a bit of work to do, obviously, on these soft tyres. Can he make some late moves here? But got to stick on board with LCR Leopard and Smokey for this battle for P2 here.
Yeah, it looks like it's a little bit compromised from Leopard as he goes around. He's going to be very much under pressure from Smokey. He goes defensive down the start-finish straight, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Going back onto the racing line, Smokey's just run out of road at the moment. Leopard, a little bit of a back-end wiggle there, but again, he's got to do everything. He's got to deploy everything into turn number 3 here, and at the moment, Smokey is just unable to respond to that McLaren. And I mean, in the background, we've got Axe getting past Matthew and Wilson as well. And it's all kicking off everywhere. But P2 is where the battle is. And look at Smokey just trying to find any action anywhere he can put that front wing to put off Leopard. But I think down this straight is going to be where it is. Into turn 9, he should get the move done.
Yeah, it's the outside line. It's going to be very, very risky. It's going to be a brave attempt if he's going to be able to pull this one off. He's got the better grip as well, so he might be able to do it. Leopard shutting the door nicely. Great defending indeed. Nothing he can do about that one. And this is going to be brilliantly defended here from LCR Leopard. And he's going to hold on for P2 as long as he keeps the car on the track. Smokey's going to be furious with this one as he's not going to be able to put it off. Wilson and Matthew swapping around. Is Matthew going to... Wilson, sorry, going to get past Axe into this final corner for P4 on track. He's certainly not. Smokey going to try and get it on the exit. He's got the better traction. He's going to get a good exit here. It's going to be a drag race between the pair of them. Leopard has held on to P2.
Wilson is going to come home in P4 with Axe in P5. P6 going to 2D in the end. Great result for him. Matthew in P7. But oh my goodness, what an incredible end of the race. And we've barely spoken about the race winner of all things. Elite has been phenomenal. The game is given driver of the day to PSR Fern. I don't know where I need to give the driver of the day to. But it's just been an absolute slogfest at the end there. A Leopard had to do everything he needed. He put his car in every position to make overtakes happen when it happened, when he needed to make them happen. And into turn 6, could be one for the stewards to look for. But like you said, he had to make that move stick at the time. But let us have a look at the final order then. It is Elite taking victory with Leopard in second place and Smokey rounding out the podium finishes and still not finishing in any other position in this grid this season. In fourth place was Wilson. Axe in fifth place, a great result for him. 6th to 2D and 7th to FRA Matthew. 8th is to Pisty with PSR Fern in 9th place and 10th place to FRA Placky. Racer, Scyther, Harris, Recluse and Nico and Lacey are the rest of the finishers with, I don't think... Oh no, Lacey didn't finish in the end, so it was Lacey, Sam, McCabe Sam, Connor and Choco and VSR Jack that didn't finish. And you know what? I don't know where to... I mean, how do you describe that one to just a normal person?
You don't. That was just, you gotta just say in short words, it was chaotic. It was dramatic as well. And that was probably the race of the season so far, and we've got to say, because honestly, start to finish, that was absolutely incredible. And the ending, fair play to Leopard. You've got to give credit to that. That's no easy task to hold on to that P2 with Smokey right behind you. He obviously had a better straight line speed setup as well. You could tell, certainly, through those fast chicanes as well, and that's where Smokey had the better tyre wear, obviously being on those fresh softs. And Leopard's experience, knowing where to park the car, clearly paid dividends, and he held on for that cracking P2, and he'll be ecstatic over that one. And I've got to give credit as well to Tuddy as well. He got P6, so he'll be really over the moon with that result. And the Aston Martin keeping it clean, no penalties, and that's what you need to do here on this tier 1 grid, is not get those penalties, and it can get you a lot of positions. And he was on those old mediums and he managed to hold on very, very nicely towards the end there. So that was definitely race of the season so far for me, because drama and action throughout that midfield was sensational.
And you were worried about Australia. So that makes it 4 wins in 4 for Elite. As I mean, who could have imagined that at the start of the season? Pretty much everyone. And 4 third places out of 4 for Smokey now. So Smokey is obviously tightening the grip, especially with no points to Cider. Leopard, I think, throws himself into P3 in the championship as well. So the point system has really thrown itself around. And Leopard, you know, he could get himself into some... He is in that fight for second place in the championship.
Yeah, he really is. He's really into that P2 for that championship fight. It's going to be about, to me now, it seems, between Smokey, Cypher and Cypher for that P2 in the championship now. So that's really intriguing, to say the least. And Leopard literally just needs to sort out his qualifying. That's literally it. And then he'll be there consistently, week in, week out with these guys. And that race showed his race pace is literally on the same level as these guys at the front in qualifying, and if not better. We saw those moves he did to get past at the start. They were on the rails, and to get past and make the move stick, getting force onto the grass a little bit with Pisty, and he really just putting on a hell of a show. And I feel Cypher will be furious with how that race went out for him today, because he could have got a really good heap of points, and he went risky with the strategy. Unfortunately, the strategy didn't pay dividends here today. Going for the mediums early on clearly wasn't the right choice, but maybe didn't have that confidence to really start on the hard tyres compared to everybody else. So yeah, that was again, it's a thrilling race here at Australia, and this championship, for the battle for P2, is certainly spicing up now.
Yeah, it's really, really, wow, it's incredible. Elite has just decided to check out, but you know, the battle for P2 has been absolutely incredible. Nearly every race, Cider and Smokey have been the ones really to watch out for. But there's a few other. Wilson definitely starting to throw himself around a bit. M Race, we haven't seen the best of him either, and obviously Leopard to go through all this as well. We're still waiting to see if anyone will join us in the commentary box for an interview for after that race, but I feel like there might be a few strong words said from some people through this, so we could have a tasty one if someone does join us tonight. But Ryan, I know you've already said that you've thoroughly enjoyed this race, but I mean, who would your driver of the day really be? Because I know the game gave it to Fern, and don't get me wrong, from 20th to 10th, was it, or 8th, deserves a shout out, but there's other people there probably more deserving, I think, and that's no disrespect to him.
Yeah, I feel, again, got to give it to... it's either Tuddy or Leopard for me, but I think I'll go for Leopard this week, because going from P11 to P2 and holding on towards the end around here was no easy job for him at all. And he made the moves at the right time, calculated start to finish, was brilliant to watch. And Leopard really did deserve to get that P2, and he's got my driver of the day once again. So again, Leopard definitely easily for me in the end, actually, driver of the day, because making overtakes at Australia, as we saw, was no easy job.
Definitely not. It was quite difficult for some of them to get through. But, you know, F1, especially this sort of racing, is a patience game, and he picked his moments right, and he was very much on the edge with some of them, but they were required, I think, is the best way to describe it.
Yeah, definitely. And I warned everybody at the start of the stream. I said, be prepared for these at the elbows to come out, because everybody's going to have to go and send it and push them off the track. And that's what we saw from every driver, not just Leopard. We saw it from every single one. Fern did it on the opening few laps, and that's just how you got to do it on on these Xbox tiers because everybody does it to each other. So you give some, you get some, and that's just how it is. And there's never going to be nice people where they go, right, I'll let you through, you know, leave you plenty of space, because it just doesn't happen, because it's competitive racing and these things happen and you've got to make the move, and Leopard does that to perfection. He knows how to place the car, he knows how to defend the car as well, so it's easier said than done, but this racing is to be expected, and these drivers know that. They take the risks, and sometimes it pays off, sometimes it doesn't, but for a lot of these drivers tonight it certainly did.
And unfortunately, for a lot of them, it didn't as well. But, you know, we've mentioned, we're going to be mentioning for a long time coming, I think, Leopard had definitely, if he gets the qualifying sorted, could be in with a massive shout. But we're only round 4. There is still plenty of time to go through this season. There's no one joined us yet. So we've got, I think, what is it? The next race is not next week, it's in 2 weeks' time at Britain, round 5, sorry. So still time. Well, these guys can just take a step back now and have a little bit of a relaxed week, it feels like, to really hit hard for the next 5-6 races before the next break week.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of these drivers are just going to practice, to be honest. I feel like they'll go, well, there's other leagues, there's obviously WR esports teams week, I believe it's on Fridays, or that'll be happening obviously this week, so they'll be all practicing for that one. But yeah, Britain will be a very fascinating race. I'm obviously going to be missing that, unfortunately, due to moving in to uni. So you'll have Joseph, I believe, will be joining you at Britain, so that'll be a thrilling race to watch at home, so I'll be making sure to tune into that one if I can. And yeah, this should be a really interesting one. And the break week, sometimes drivers who have had bad form usually come back stronger and really start to turn things up, so hopefully we see some of that from the likes of M-Race, who's really had a disappointing start to this season.
Definitely. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like we're going to have anyone join us this week again. Hopefully we'll get some soon. We get some people speak to us soon. But yes, for now, from Ryan and myself, until, well, 2 weeks for me and then 3 weeks for Ryan, we will be, well, there's plenty of WOR action throughout. We've got Jota, Ollie in 2 separate tiers tomorrow night with others as well. And I am sorry if Callum G, I think, is with Jota. I can't remember who's with Ollie. So there is some, you know, incredible commentators throughout WOR still to show some action through some other tiers here in WOR as well. Finally, from you, Ryan, any final words for tonight?
Well, best race of the season so far, and hopefully it continues at Britain. So yeah, thank you very much for everybody who joined us in this stream, and hope you enjoyed the action as much as we did.
Well, I enjoyed it as well. So all that matters on that side. But thank you everyone who's watched. It's been another cracking week on for you guys coming and watching, both myself and Ryan, watching the racing and everything that goes on throughout. So, but for now, thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one. Alfie is a WOR race winner.
Jensen makes it 5 in a row.
Danny Bergenay wins on debut.
Shanaka returns to winning ways in WOR.
Season 12 sees a new man. It's Shadow. He is your Xbox champion.
And Jensen is the new king of PlayStation.
From the back row of the grid, against all odds, Nicholas Longy wins the title.
Past the safety car.
What has gone on here?
Bowman spin. Stunning move from the Spaniard.
He's taken out Rambo. Here comes Longy.
We're going four-way down to turn one.
Oh, and he's taking him out.
The captain Rogers can fight.
Sonic to the inside.
Got a win to Brazil. Absolutely sensational.